Yeah, those phone lines are hotting up, not surprisingly, on the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre, Craig Moore and Leanne Crichton with Rob McLean. Between now and 7:08 08 17 17 700. Steven Gerrard today said what he thought. A massive thank you, he said, to the Aston Villa fans for the warm welcome that I've received. His quotes: "I'm well aware of the stature of the football club and how special an atmosphere you all create at Villa Park. I'm looking forward to sampling that for the first time as your new head coach. Can't wait to get started. Looking forward to meeting all the staff," which will probably be the staff he's taking from Rangers, "and players, and getting to work out on the training pitch." Also, obviously, sending a message to the Rangers fans, who will remember him certainly as the man who stopped Celtic getting 10 on the trot and landing Rangers their first trophy in 10 years. It was the title, and it was by 25 points last season. So what are the recollections like of Steven Gerrard as Rangers manager? What's everyone thinking about that very speedy departure to Aston Villa, and who is coming next in the hot seat at Rangers? Let's talk to Daniel in Wishaw and George in Bathgate. Hi, Daniel.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. How's yourself?
Not too bad. A wee bit, obviously, with the previous caller. Also, just Craig, how we doing? Leanne, how are you?
Good, very well.
All good, thank you.
Yeah, and we've got you've got George in Bathgate as well. Hi, George.
How you doing, Rob? All right? How you doing, boys?
Yeah.
Hi, George.
Good. So, Daniel, you first. What are you thinking?
To be honest, first of all, I'd like to wish Steven Gerrard all the very best of luck to Aston Villa. Obviously, he gave us some absolutely stunning European nights under the floodlights. Just gutted, really, to be honest. I never really expected. I was kind of waiting for something. I don't think we've seen full potential, to be honest.
And George, what would you say about Steven Gerrard departing?
I mean, Rob, I was gutted a fortnight ago when I called the Godfather Rangers passed away. The day I'm a bit disappointed, but I'm not overly surprised, to be perfectly honest with you, Rob. These things are always going to happen. I was gutted when Walter Smith passed away. I was gutted when Walter Smith also left Rangers. But the position we're in now, Rob, compared to the position we were in when Steven Gerrard came into the club, is two completely different things. We're talking about, I think it was Leanne there that said Van Bronckhorst coming in. That's where I would like to focus. I'd like to focus on who's got to come in now. He's away now. It's as simple as that, Rob. And I ken people say it's a bit, well, we move on. We've got to look to who's got to come in and who's got to steady the ship. Who's got to take us into our semi-final we've got in a couple of weeks' time and try and win the league again this season. That's the way I want to look at it, Rob.
Who's it for you, Daniel? Who's the next Rangers manager?
I would totally agree with George. I would say Van Bronckhorst seems to be, I would say he's kind of got the class to take Rangers forward, especially with European nights, league-wise. An absolute fantastic team in a really healthy position. So,
Daniel and George, I want to ask you a question. So you're both going for the same candidate in Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Obviously, it's a great shout. In terms of backroom staff, what are your feelings in that department? So obviously, Steven's gone in and he's had a backroom staff and quite a lot of them, and they're all leaving now. So what are your thoughts on whoever comes in terms of the backroom staff?
That was kind of my thoughts, Craig. That was kind of my call. What it was really about. I think Van Bronckhorst would be a great appointment. Do I think he'll take the job? Do I think he'll be the one? I'm not 100% sure, Craig, to be perfectly honest with you. I would love it to see him coming in because the style of football he played at Feyenoord has done a great job with him and things like that, and a smaller budget compared to what Ajax had at the time. But I've been champion for a long time, Craig, and Barry Ferguson's probably, just age, I'm a 40-year-old, Barry Ferguson's probably my biggest hero at Rangers. He grew up knowing the club, he grew up always wanting to be a winner. The passion he talks about for the club as well. I'd love Barry Ferguson, and if no Barry Ferguson, Kevin Thompson, just to get that Rangers heat in there as well, Craig, because I can. You didn't always need it, but I think it's just the time we're at now. I'd love a Kevin Thompson or Barry Ferguson just in the backroom staff as well, Craig, just to help us along. I think that'd be a big boost for the club.
I think as well, it kind of the DNA then of the football club, as you touch on. Then I think it's important knowing that even outside the head coach, you've got people within that backroom staff that actually know what it's all about, that knows what the club not only means to themselves but to the supporters. I do believe that is crucial. So when you touch on Barry Ferguson, or Kevin as well, Thompson, they're people that certainly fit into that mould.
It needs to be a seamless handover, doesn't it, Leanne, with what's at stake this season?
Yeah, and I think with the run of games coming up as well, Rob, there's an opportunity there. I don't think it's the toughest run of games, because I don't think you're going to face a Hibs team even in a semi-final. As much as that will bring pressure, Hibs haven't been in form. They're not in a good run. Their big players haven't been firing all cylinders, but that's maybe a bit of momentum and motivation for them. I think it could be a worse situation, but it's got to be, timing-wise, it's not great, but timing-wise, it's also good in the sense that you've still got another whole week. In a week in football, we know how much can change. So for players to come back from international and a new manager to be in place, to maybe at least have 2 or 3 days on a training pitch before the semi-final would be enough. But I think the bigger questions will be in terms of the backroom staff, because I know Steven Gerrard was backed massively from the board. I think every member of staff virtually behind the scenes, bar maybe 2 or 3, were all his own that he brought with him. So it'll be interesting to see who actually remains from that group of staff just now. I don't expect Michael Beale to be about. I don't expect Tom Coulshaw, his fourth assistant. For me directly just now in terms of coaching staff, I would only expect Colin Stewart, the goalkeeping coach, to be the one that remains. So that transition is maybe the tricky part, just in how you turn that around in a short space of time. But no, it's exciting. I think for Scottish football, it's exciting to see who the next name is going to be and what a season we could be in for. Yeah. A new manager across at Celtic Park. We know the difficulties that brought. We spent so much time speaking about it. Who would it be? The rebuilding job. Well, that's been taken care of now. Celtic find themselves in a good place. And Rangers are equally probably in an even better place just now, top of the league, and so much to play for.
Is it a worry, Daniel, that this could be unsettling to the players, the changeover at this stage in what is such a big season?
I hope no. I really hope it inspires them to kick on, obviously, give them a wee bit more motivation. Because when you've seen, obviously, with Postecoglou came in for Celtic, it's the players have kind of got a wee bit, I would say the motivation's kind of a wee bit more focused this season for them. So I would like to think that it would inspire and motivate the players to go and obviously give Steven Gerrard the respect that he deserves. I think for what he's built, to show exactly what he's built, to put there in the performance that maybe, did Steven Gerrard make a mistake, go to Aston Villa, will he regret the decision? I don't know.
Hopefully he doesn't try and pull pieces out in January then as well in the transfer market. Be interesting to see.
Exactly.
Be interesting to see about the players that he's backed and supported, and at times tells us all how much he loves those players. Be interesting to see if anything happens.
Maybe he won't love them that much that he wants them at Aston Villa
come January. Look, for me as well, I think Rangers is a football club where, as a player or as a coach, you have to win trophies, you have to win medals. And for me, the situation that's been forced upon the football club, they will handle. They will get the right person in. It will get a lift from the playing squad, which we all know can perform so much better than what they have done, but they're in a wonderful position. So a new manager automatically will raise the standards, no doubt. But I also think it's important that, again, that Rangers are box clever in terms of, even for a new manager to come in, I think it's important that success is part of maybe a trigger to future years at the football club, so that you come in terms of, you go and win a title and win a cup, and there's another 2 or 3 year extension. But I wouldn't be offering 3 years straight up front, if you know what I mean.
No.
George, how do you feel about the pressure situation that this is for whoever it is incoming? There's Europe, of course, got off to a bad start. There's been a recovery on that score. Whoever it is coming straight into a League Cup semi-final. Rangers did poorly, as you would say, in the cup competitions last season, and there's a desire to do better. And the big one, of course, is the league, isn't it? It could be a financial game changer for either Rangers or Celtic, whoever get their hands on the title this season.
Well, that's exactly it, Rob. I mean, the other way you look at it, if you want to look at it with the fine half full, you can see that we're 4 points ahead. So whoever comes in's got a 4 point head start in the league.
Yeah.
We've got a semi-final against Hibs. his first game back, hopefully that would be in place by that point. And then I would like to call it a playoff against Sparta for a place in Europe as well after Christmas, Rob. So
that is a cup final, isn't it?
Of course it is, Rob. That's the way you look at it. I mean, you can look at it both ways and you can turn around and say, I mean, if the person comes in and is a bit nervous about that, well, he's obviously not the right guy for the job, Rob, because what an opportunity you're coming in and you're saying to these guys. What I was going to say as well, Rob, I mean, I think it was Leanne that was saying nobody could put a finger on why Rangers aren't performing the way we were last season. Now, we're still at the top of the league and we're winning games and that, Rob, but we're not playing the same kind of football. Do you think we've went stale, Rob? Do you think we've went stale? Could this be a blessing in disguise? This is me maybe just trying to look at the positive, Rob. Is this maybe a blessing in disguise where we're going to bring something in and it'll just freshen up?
Leanne, I was just going to put that to Leanne. Good time for a change?
No, I absolutely. I think if you ever want to make change, you want to be in a strong position when that happens. And not often do you get to come in as a new manager when the team is in a strong position. Normally it's in crisis. Normally it's when the team's not doing well, when you've lost players, you've whatever. This is a brilliant opportunity for a manager to come in without having to change anything drastically, but to come in with new ideas and a new maybe type of philosophy that I think you're guaranteed that those group of players can go and perform in the system that they've been performing in ever so well. I think on the day if Rangers play with that 4-3-3 with the fluidity and players at the top of their game, there's not many teams that can live with them, certainly in Scotland. You bring a new manager in that can possibly tweak that system in moments that the team are not performing well or your big players don't perform, or to come up with a plan B, going up against a Sparta, for example, maybe a Lyon with a different approach. I think that would be refreshing, and I think as a player, when anybody leaves and a manager like that leaves in that moment, I think personally as a player I would be excited about the prospect of learning and developing and getting even better with the group of players that you've got, because there's, other than the manager and the coaching staff, right now nothing will change other than that. And I think as a manager you're only as good as your group of players.
Daniel, George mentioned the word staleness there. Do you go with that maybe there was a touch of staleness about Rangers so far this season and maybe it was time to change?
I feel as though up to the Motherwell game, obviously we've not been firing on all cylinders, so I don't know which went wrong. I don't know whether we've missed the idea of Jack being in the middle, Kent, him being a big miss. I mean, I think we've been missing a lot of big key players. Obviously, Kent, Jack,
Helander.
Just to freshen it up a bit. Helander as well. I mean, these guys, Kent on his day is absolutely sublime. Absolutely totally different.
Which he's shown in the last couple of games. And maybe for the new manager coming in, you've got Ryan Kent back on the scene.
Massive.
Maybe that rest has done him a power of good because he wasn't looking at his best early on in the season. And Ryan Jack is massive in that midfield. Yeah,
but they're both going to have dips when you have those injury spells. You come back and you know what it's like when you first start. You're absolutely flying because you're delighted to be out there. But you will take a little dip. That's only natural. But look, for me, I would love to see just more leadership on the field, on the training ground, demanding standards and demanding better from one another. I feel as if that's an area where Rangers can be so much stronger, and the value and what you get is so much more. Then I think you start to become a lot more comfortable in games. You control them a lot more. You actually finish games off. Just demand more from each other because the potential is there. We've seen it.